Okay, good. All right. Well, welcome everyone to Fifth Dimensional Academy of Higher Consciousness. Today is November 13th, and I'm broadcasting live from Stockholm, Sweden. We're going to start doing a meditation, as always. First of all, I'd like to welcome everyone and the new people who are here with us. And just for the new people, because the devices make noises when we turn them on, we have to mute everybody so we don't get this weird background noise. And later on, I mean, you're welcome to, if you have any questions, you can write it on the chat box or wave at me, and then I'll unmute you and we'll go over your questions, and then I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. For the moment, we're going to do a meditation, and we're going to ask Her Majesty, the Supreme Soul, the love of all, the Grand Spirit, the love that God has for everyone, all of us, and the love that is in our hearts, to come and do the healing. Heal our sister Hilde, so she gets rid of her pain, and also sending healing energy to all of everyone in Southern and Northern California that they're going through the fires, and wishing them well, and hopefully they don't get hurt, and they will be safe, and their families will be safe. And hoping and wishing that the fires end as soon as possible. So let's just do a very simple meditation. Those of you who've been with me before, you're familiar with it. I've talked about this before, and actual meditation should be really effortless without really trying hard to make it happen. And if we just simply sink in within ourselves, sink in here in our center, the center of ourselves. Let's say if there's a column running through us, and this part of us is very still, and it's not moving. So we connect to this part within ourselves that is very still. And in that, the attention comes to this part rather than our attention to be on our thoughts or our emotions. So we're not trying to stop our thoughts. We're not trying to numb ourselves and not feel. And we're not doing a mantra or a visualization. We're simply bringing our attention inwards to where the witness is, the awareness, the watcher, the one that is watching and witnessing the thoughts or the emotions or the events in life. We'll bring our attention to that part of ourselves. So you take a deep breath and you just sink in and relax. Allow your mind to be. Allow your thoughts to come and go. Don't try to manipulate anything. Simply be present and here at this moment, without an agenda, without trying to get to anywhere or try to accomplish anything. Simply you're here, and that's it. Take a deep breath and sink inside. Don't try to manipulate anything. Just simply stay in your own center, in your heart here. You're here in this moment, and you're just awareness. You are aware of movements, of your thoughts, your emotions, your body, the noises. Your attention is just on yourself. That's it. So if thoughts come and go, they're okay. Don't struggle with them to stop your mind. Let it be. And then you find yourself distant from all of it. And you go deeper and deeper inside yourself. An inner journey. And as you're just simply here, there is an allowance, allowing things to travel through you. And allowing that all the tension, the stress, and whatever is bothering you throughout the day to pass through and go and leave you. Simply hang out in this moment. That's it, without any stories. And even if your mind troubling you, don't attach a story to it. Let your mind do its thing. Slowly, slowly. Come back. Slowly, slowly come back here. Anybody has any questions? Shishi, has anyone asked any questions from the academy?
Not that I have seen, love. No. I'll double check the email one last time.
Or on the academy page?
No, it's not on the academy page. I checked that.
Okay. All right. Hi, Shadi. Hi, Shadi. Yeah?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Zarathustra.
Nice to see you, sweetheart.
Nice
Yeah.
to see you too. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to take time off. I know you're working today.
Yeah. Yeah, 30, 40 minutes is okay.
Great. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
So, oh, wow. Hello, Miss Hilde. Hilde Hogan. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So nice seeing you again.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah. Hi, Evie.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice seeing you too. Long time no see.
No, a week in Hamar. It's good.
That was a very nice time we had together.
It was a lovely
Yeah,
group.
Very,
Yes.
very sweet, exquisite.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to be back in Scandinavia. I get to see some of you in person. So,
It's
yeah,
nice.
yeah. Okay. Well, here we are again together. It's a blessing. So, how can I not suffer? How can I deal with life and all the things are happening in life simultaneously, and I maintain my level of stillness and not get involved with the world of mind, the world of thoughts and the emotions? How do I do that? How am I a spiritual being and living in the world? And I have one foot in spiritual world and another foot in the world that it seems like it's very chaotic. It appears that the spiritual values are lost, and it's become a world that is really consumed by money, power, greed, and a lot of bullying happening in the world. So how can I live in this world and remain a spiritual being? So that is something that a lot of spiritual seekers deal with, especially the ones who are healers or mediums or artists or psychics. A lot of people in the artistic realm, they say, I just want to do my art. I just want to play music or sing or do my painting or do whatever artistic I do, and I don't want to deal with money. So, but the reality of it is we have 1 foot in the material world and we have 1 foot in the spiritual world, or at least it feels that way. It looks that way. But in the very reality, there is the physical world that we're in is a part of the spiritual world. And you can find, if you expand your horizon, you find spirituality, God, the Spirit, in the living Spirit, in everything. And there's really not this separation that appears to be, is because we're not able to see through it. And we're stuck with this vision that it's separated, and we're not capable of going beyond that. Therefore, there are few people who were able to go beyond, let's say like Christ or Buddha or Krishna or some of the awakened ones, that they're in our, or some have or that are doing it right now in this time, that they're capable of going beyond the duality and to see through the fabric of life and see that really all of it is connected and everything is spiritual. There is none spirituality, and that and awareness and God is in everything, everywhere, all the time, 24/7. There is nothing outside of the body of God. There is nothing outside of the body of the Spirit, the living Spirit, the big kahuna. Nothing exists outside of that. Or if you don't like that word, we can use the word consciousness. Nothing exists outside of consciousness. Consciousness is all there is. Everything is a part of that, including the bad, including the evil, including things you don't like the way they treat animals, and they're slaughtering them, or they have slaving animals, or they're using them to pull their skin out or their flesh out, and the way they're being treated. That is a part of totality. Or they're cutting through the forest, they're destroying these beautiful old 2,000-year-old trees, and they're cutting them down ruthlessly. Or the way humans treating each other. So the dark side is a part of the totality. It's a part of consciousness. It's a part of God. It's an aspect. It's an aspect of life. And there is the good. You come across conscious people, you come across giving people, loving people, people who are doing good stuff. They're trying to help other people, raising the awareness and consciousness. Whether somebody's working in a hospital as a nurse, or somebody working in a school as a teacher, different aspects of life, whether it's a spiritual teacher, it's a healer, or whatever, or it's a physician, or it's a mom who's taking care of her children, whatever, in the whole thing, all of it. So if you're capable, if you can train yourself, if you can open your third eye and your vision and be able to look at everything that you experience and you see in this life as an aspect of A, yourself, that you are a part of this and this is you. B, that the spirit, the creator, consciousness is within everything. And this is within that. So there's no separation in it. There's no separation. If you're able to go beyond the separation, then you come into the oneness. And this question of why, the world that I experience is so screwed up. Why is it so screwed up? Then that question disappears because you begin to see that it's all a part of that. All of it is that. Now, why would existence or God or consciousness or creator, again, I'm using different words. Some people don't like the word God because they connect the word God with this man with white hair and long white beard who's got a stick in his hand and he's there to punish you if you do something wrong. So a lot of people relate that to this punishing creator. So they don't like the word God, or they connect it to their religious background, and they've been forced. Religion that's been forced upon us to force us go to the church or mosque or the temple or wherever, and we're allergic to this word, God. But let's use the different word, the spirit, the living being, or the creator, or her majesty, the supreme soul. The presence of the being that is everywhere, everywhere. It's not only in your home or your heart or my heart, it's everywhere in every being, human beings or any kind of living being, and also in any object. There is the presence. Whatever race you come from, whatever religion you come from, it doesn't matter. The being is equally everywhere, all the time. So what's the deal? Why is it like this then? Why is the world, why we have so much brutality or violence, or the stuff that we're observing and we get focused on in this life that we don't like, or the media is showing to us, or we experience in life? Well, the consciousness, the being, the spirit is multidimensional. It's an infinite being that it's very difficult for the thinking mind to understand the infinite, because our minds are used to there's a beginning and there's an end. Our minds are limited, and the capacity of the mind to understand is limited. It has boundaries. It cannot go beyond its boundaries. So it can't understand the infinite. It doesn't understand infinity. Infinity means it keeps going and going and going. It has no beginning and it has no end. So it's very difficult for us to understand that because we're used to a beginning and an end. And that's how we lived our lives up to this moment. Everything has a beginning and has an end for us. That's our experience. Even, yourself, your body, Your body is changing. So you remember yourself that you were 5 years old or 8 years old, and then you remember yourself you were a teenager. You remember yourself went through puberty and your body changed. You remember yourself you were in school or high school or college, and you just see the changes happening to you, and then it comes to the end of the life and the cycle of this physical body, and as well as our relationships with whatever, relationship with other people, relationship with our work, job, whatever we have, whatever we experience in this life, there's a beginning and there's an end. So naturally, we can't understand infinity. We don't understand it. The mind cannot understand it. But God, or the presence, the being, is infinite. It doesn't stop at one point. It has no beginning and it has no end. It keeps going and going and going from every direction. So here is this concept of infinity, this concept of the being, that I can't really comprehend it. I can't really understand it. But this being, it is experiencing and it's manifesting itself in so many different ways. And this being has been around ever since the ever since. So it doesn't have a time limit and it has no limitation in creation. It can express and create itself and create anything it wants in any way. So the being, if it's only creating goodness and love and purity, then it gets bored. It's only doing that. So it gets bored from creating only goodness and purity and love. Because it's infinite. It can do whatever it wants. It can be anything it wants. So just imagine that you can be anything you want. And let's say for a few lifetimes, you've been very good and you keep manifesting yourself as Jesus Christ, as the Buddha, as a saint, as a loving all. And after 100, 200, 300, 400 years, you get bored. And you know what? One day you wake up and you say, you know what? I want to be Al Capone. I want to be a gangster. I want to be a rapist. I want to be an asshole. I'm tired of being good. I want to try something else because I can. I can manifest myself as anything I want. And everything else is myself. Everybody else is an aspect of myself. So if I come as a killer or a bad guy and I'm doing bad things, I'm basically not hurting anybody because I am playing this imaginary game with myself. I'm being a bad guy, creating a scenario of doing bad things to myself that is being the victim. So it's my right hand is playing with my left hand. And so we're doing this thing and this conflict and blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, nothing has happened. Right hand didn't hurt the left hand. It's all of it is a part of the same body. I'm not saying, and I'm not giving license to anybody to do horrible stuff or things to other people. That's not giving permission that you can go kill people or steal from people or rape people or sabotage things. What I'm trying to explain to you is that we're looking at things from a very limited angle, and then we're only seeing good and bad. And of course, we want good. But we're going back to this question that why is there the bad stuff? The bad stuff, we don't have to like it. We don't have to go with it. But if you remember the beginning of when I first started to talk, I said, ultimately, you have to go beyond the good and bad. You have to go beyond it. So you go beyond the duality. You go beyond what's good and you go beyond what's bad, including your own dark side, your own shadows. Whatever it is, you only know that. But it's transcending beyond good and bad. And when you're able to transcend that and go beyond good and bad, then you land into the oneness. You land into the heart of awareness. You land into the third eye or the crown chakra. You go somewhere that place has nothing to do with good or bad. And also you begin to realize that infinite, the spirit, the creator, has created the good and has created the bad. It's representing and expressing itself as the good guy and as the bad guy. It is equally in everyone. It is the power source of the good and the power source of the bad. So if you are able to do this, if you, for some reason, you're capable to train yourself to go beyond the good and bad, then you also experience that you're no longer questioning existence as why is it the way it is. You begin to accept the existence the way it is. You don't have to like it, but you accept it. Accepting something has nothing to do with liking it. But then, by accepting life as it is, the way it is, whatever it is, your mind can ease from being really involved with the world outside and trying to fix the world outside. And a part of that fixing, that we get very much engaged with the world outside. We're too focused on the world outside of ourselves, including our thoughts and our emotions and our body. We're too focused. They're also outside of who you are. Your mind is outside of you. Your emotions are happening outside of yourself. And your body is outside of you, even though you think, you believe that you're your thinking process. This thinking process that's happening, you really think that's who you are. It's an object. And your emotions that are up and down, you really believe that that's who you are. You're defining yourself by your emotions. And at the end, at the strongest place that we identify mostly to is you're identifying to your body, the meat, as you. You think you are this meat. You think you're this body. So, with this false identification comes tremendous amount of suffering. Because you start to suffer. You suffer from this very busy, chaotic mind. You suffer from this mind that is very worried about the world's events. What's going to happen? What's going to happen next? Where is the world going to be? What is it going to be like 10 years from now? What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my children? I don't know. Oh my God, it feels so unsafe. So you're worried about it. Or you go into the past and you're dwelling in the past events of what has happened. What kind of mistakes you've made. You screwed up. You should have been doing this. You should have been doing that. You should have married this person. You should have done this work instead of that work. You should have invested in blah, blah, blah. All these things that you go into and you get stuck into it and you really believe it, that it's real, and you begin to suffer. Or you get so identified with your body and you're so worried that the death of this body means the death of you, that you're going to expire and end as your body dies, because you really believe you are this body. So all of it brings suffering, and we suffer. And none of it is new, because this has been going on ever since the ever since, until you're capable of going beyond this. Otherwise, it's just gonna keep suffering, because you really believe all of it is who you are. You've got to be able to go beyond that. You've got to be able to see yourself and come to the truth of who you really are. Discovering your inner truth. Discovering this other aspect of yourself, or the truth of who you are, whatever way we explain it. I'm throwing different words at you. Is that coming to this understanding and touching this, not just mentally, intellectually understanding what I share with you, not an intellectual understanding. It comes with intellectual understanding, but then it requires somebody who is very determined and really wants to wake up and really wants to come out of this nightmare that you call it my life. And you want to pop out of it. You really want to come out of it. You mean it. You're not just doing it because I sit with Zarathustra, and sitting with Zarathustra gives me some inner peace, or I feel good for a day or two or a week. But then I fall back into my old patterns. No, not for that. That you really recognize this opportunity as a window that's opened up, that you can go through it and you can wake up and come out of the nightmare. Because you're dreaming, and you're dreaming a nightmare, and you want to wake out of it. So how do I do that? How do I come out of the nightmare? And to come out of the nightmare is that, number one, we'll come to this decision that, okay, I really want to get out of it. I'm really going to get out of it. And in order to get out of it, I need to be attentive. I need to bring this attentiveness. So now that I do it a little bit here and there, and then I fall asleep, and everything is really good as long as things go my way. As long as I pay my bills, as long as people who I love, they're around me and everything's going well. And yes, I'm going to do the work. No, not just that. Staying on the path and on the course when things aren't going your way, when things are going sour, when you think life sucks, and you do the work. Not just when things go your way. You stay focused and determined when things aren't going your way. Regardless, things going your way, things don't go your way. Doesn't matter. You're determined to fully awaken and not settling down for anything. Oh, well, I did this work and I became really great healer and now I feel a lot of energy. And I settle for that. I'm doing healing work. I made a lot of money. I found my love of life. Great. Goodbye. I found my partner and I'm going to exit. No, your commitment is to freedom. You want to be free and you want to be free forever. So if that is your commitment and this is what you really want, then you have to be attentive. And what are you going to be attentive to? And it's really simple what I'm sharing with you because some of you have heard me saying it over and over again. Is very, very simple. The mind, the body, the mind, the emotions has a tendency to pull you back into your old ways. So it's very comfortable to go back into the old ways because that's the only thing I know, and that's suffering. You suffer. So we have to break that habit. So what do? Is number one is, where is the freedom? Well, how do I touch and feel, taste the freedom? Because otherwise, if I just tell you where the freedom is and you don't feel it, you don't touch it, you don't experience it, then it's just blah, blah, blah. It's just like another spiritual teaching from so many different people that you've read in a book, or you watched a video, or you went to a lecture or a seminar. It's kind of meaningless. It doesn't mean anything if you cannot touch it. You have to touch it. You have to feel it. So it's your direct experience. Otherwise, it's blah, blah, blah. And it's not going to stick. Are you with me? Yeah. So, pay attention, because this is important. Don't be involved with your devices. Put your devices away and just really tap into this, because here is the juice. There is this part of you here right now That is watching and observing these other aspects of you. And we call this the sense of being, the sense of I am. That's one word for it. The sense, I have a sense that I am here. Or we call it the observer. The observer. The one that is observing. Or we call it the witness. Witnessing. Okay? The one that witnessed. This part, the only thing it does is observes or witnesses. That's all it does. It's not involved with what it's witnessing or what it's observing. It's not involved with the content that it's watching or hearing or seeing or experiences. Okay? It's not an experience. Let me make this clear to you. Experience comes and goes. I'm not talking about experience. Oh, I had an amazing awakening, Zarathustra. I had an amazing experience. I had an experience with the beings. You know, Lord Jesus Christ came in front of me, and I had this amazing experience with Christ. Okay, great. Where is Christ now? Is he in front of you? Are you still experiencing? Are you feeling the bliss?